What one has to remember is that where you've had a build-up of these banks in terms of their complexity, their customers' expectations over 40 years, to try and unwind that in 2 or 3 is almost impossible. It's like turning a super tank around and desizing at the same time. It's a tricky operation. People have taken a long time to get to grips with how enormous these institutions are and how complex they are. There has been quite a lot of good intent at the G20 in terms of various policy measures that potentially could allow the banks to stay intact, but would deal with them in the point as they've moved into a stress period. But I think there seems to be a general consensus that's really arisen during 2013 that something needs to happen in terms of absolutely just dealing with the size issue head on.
Global banking looking forward is probably going to become much more localised. What we're witnessing here is that countries are coming first. So irrespective of the chief executives and what they believe they would look like 3, 4, 5 years ago, I'm hearing opinions change. And it's because global regulation, the fact that every country is looking after itself first, is changing the shape of what the global universal bank is going to look like. The way I would look at it is that every country needs a bank, okay? And I would liken it to the Defence Force. Without a bank, you will not be able to govern your country. And that is what's fundamentally shaping the size, nature and scale of banks in every single country.
The banks that are successful will be the ones that respond to what's going on in their national economies. And I think that by definition means that we're not going to get homogeneity across border. I think the really interesting challenge is, do we end up with homogeneity within country? And I think that actually could be quite dangerous if we'd end up with the banks not being diverse.